I'm gonna just wait, and I'm not gonna start talking about the thing I want to talk about until after I've done the loot boxes.
I did all the loot
Okay,
boxes.
what do we got?
I got the one skin I wanted.
I got nothing really decent there. Oh, I
Can
got
I
the
finish off?
ash line. It's a giving time of year. And Overwatch really kind of came through with that. So, good job. Oh, there's a gold and a purple. Oh, and a blue. Blue ash skin. I got the mystery gift emote for Zarya. I'm
Nice.
happy. And I got Symmetra's Regal skin as well, so kind of
I think
happy
I
about
got
that.
everything I really wanted.
Okay.
I want the Hanzo skins.
And we got 2 blues and a purple. It's a pile of currency. Ooh, and Skiing Widowmaker for the spray. Yeti Mari. It's cute. Rhino icon. Let's see what we got here. Single blue. Oh. Yay! Widow line. Anubis. Tracer's wings. And double blue. More currency. And a Genji spray. And a 2019 hat. That is going to be my icon. Ooh. That's a funny one. Yeah. Okay. Open this one up. What do we get? Blue.
Someone had to break the ice.
Yes. Reaper stocking. I'll join you here in just a second, Carrie. I have one last loot box to get here. And it's a single blue. Hey, Sombra's Merry Christmas skin. Or Merry Christmas voice line. It's all the same at this point, honestly. I missed Torb voice line somewhere? Oh, engineers. Okay. Notifications, and I will join Kiri.
I got Alpine 76.
Okay. So, while we're kind of just doing this, whatever we're gonna be doing here, I figure it is probably the best time to talk about it since it has been 5 years now, since the events of Forthcoming Message. December 21st of 2013. I was feeling really down and kind of just feeling kicked in the gut because of I had just lost my job at that point, and I was really worried about the whole income thing, trying to get presents for people, just kind of stressing about that. And as a result, 4 days before Christmas, I tried to hang myself in my closet. And luckily, my friend who I was living with at the time found me before the attempt was made and called and got me to where I needed to go. And yeah, honestly, without that person, I would not be here today. I wouldn't be enjoying all this fun stuff. I would not have my son or my girlfriend or be in any sort of happy situation whatsoever. I would have gone out thinking the world is a dark, scary, horrible, horrible place. And there's been a lot of in between then and now. A couple weeks after that occurring, I was told that because of the medication that I was on and because of the severity of what happened, that I was also no longer suitable to serve in the National Guard. And that was about a month before I was supposed to go to basic training. So I kind of sat and wallowed around for the next, I believe, 3 or 4 months, and finally my friend kind of decided that me not doing anything was not good for me and tried to push me in the right direction, and I didn't take his advice, and as such he was forced to kick me out of his place, and I was homeless for 3 weeks. I was living in my car. And I wound up moving in with this really nice family that I still occasionally talk to. They no longer live in the state I live in, and while I was living with them, I met a lady that was severely mentally abusive and emotionally abusive to me, and because of our breakup and what she told me during our breakup, I won't go into the full story on that because it's long and still a little bit on the difficult side for me to talk about. Because of that, I wound up getting addicted to methamphetamines for just under 3 months, and that's daily use, probably lighting up once or twice every other hour, just to kind of try and get the numbing sensation of not having to deal with it. And during the end cycle of that addiction, the thing that actually brought about me wanting to end that addiction was the fact that I found out my great grandma was in the hospital. And I had, like, she had been having her bout with cancer for well over 2 years at this point. It was January 19th that she went to the hospital. No, it was January 14th, sorry, that she had gone into the hospital. And I had gone up there to see her, and I was so just gone. I was so tweaked out of my mind that I don't remember a whole lot of the visit. But the one thing I remember is her bringing up a story from when I was a kid about how we had gone to, and I hadn't brought along I had this cool little bug catching kit when I was a kid that had like a little bug catching net and like these little like glass things, kind of like what taxidermists use after they like have caught a bug and want to like preserve it. I wasn't into that. I was just like catch it, release it, whatever. But she's like, well, she jokingly said, well, why don't we just take a fishing net and, you know, hope we get lucky with it. And sure as shit, 5 minutes later, there's a butterfly just hanging out in there. And like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was a kid. I was like, I just caught a butterfly in a fishing net. But she brought that story up to me, and she told me the first thing that we were gonna do when she got out was we were gonna go catch a butterfly with a fishing net. And she got out home for a day, and I didn't even know she had gone home. And after that first day, she took such a bad turn for the worse that she had to go to the hospital, and unfortunately, she passed away there. And it was January 19th. It was 5 days after I had gone to visit her that I decided that I needed to completely cut that shit out of my life. It was just no more, completely done. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And like I was keeping myself off of everything, just doing like trying to keep my head clear. And then I found out she was gone, and like I lost it. I didn't turn back to drugs. This isn't a fucking like immediate relapse, like something because something bad happened. Like what typically happens. Like what I felt I needed to do at that point was I needed to leave that place and just go somewhere else. And the first friend that I had talked about with the whole almost suicide thing wound up taking me back in because he lived not too far from where I was living, and he helped me out, helped me find a new job, helped me stay off the shit. He would stay awake and fucking deal with my attempt at relapsing. He saw me at one of the lowest points in my life when I was literally to the point of almost breaking again. And then eventually kind of worked through it. And at this job that I was at, um I met someone who introduced me to her best friend, who is now my girlfriend of almost 4 years now. And wound up getting into an argument with my friend and moving in with my girlfriend, like at that point. And between moving in with her and now, there's been so many ups and downs about everything under the fucking sun. But like, I don't honestly think I could keep going on without her at this point, because we know so much about each other and we've invested that much time with each other that it's just the thought of not seeing her again is so mentally scarring to me that if I ever did lose her, I would just lose it. Her or my son, I wouldn't be able to handle it. But anyway, back to more message stuff. We had a pretty severe breakup in 2017, to the point where we didn't live together until from June of 2017 until June of this year. And between me leaving her place, I got myself an apartment with somebody that I thought I could trust. I really thought I could trust them. And not even 2 months later, I was back to looking for my own place because they didn't pay their half of the rent. They told me they did, and 3 days later, I was getting served with a week notice to evict. So, I bounced back to first friend's place once again, and unfortunately for him and I both, it was run by the same people who ran the previous apartment that had just evicted me. And him and I, after 2 months of living together again, were given a week to evict for him just having me at his place. So I moved in with a different friend, and that honestly was just kind of one of the bigger mistakes I've ever had to go through, just because they were not good people. Essentially, they would go to gas stations at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning as a huge group just so one of them could jack a bunch of food. They'd constantly be like, it's just a lot, man. They were constantly like missing work, telling their bosses, "Oh, hey, this person's dead or that person's dead," or making up fake deaths basically so they could get out of work and still have a job. After that, I tried moving in with a couple other friends of mine that aren't really friends anymore. I still have talked to them recently, but I can never really truly be friends with them because of how bad they were to me. It was a house of five. 5 adults, one kid, and I was the only adult working. And they were basically relying on me to pay for everything for them. And when I asked them about what they planned to do for their income, they said they don't have a plan. And what wound up happening is I told them I'm not going to keep paying for their shit. And they told me that I had to get the fuck out. But they were not. I was at my girlfriend's place at the point of that conversation, and they weren't willing to give me any of my shit back. And that was a whole big thing. Police got involved, and I was still told, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, you can't get any of your stuff back because you haven't paid for the rent for their month." And I'm like, "There's legal shit I can do about it, but whatever." And I was presented with two choices at that point, to either go live with my mom or try and find a place here in town within a couple of days. I could have gone with the guaranteed place, and I decided to try and make something work here in town just because I didn't want to be that far away from my kid. And I wound up getting a trailer with this other guy, I should say, but he acts like a fucking child. And he was basically trying to pull the same shit. He wanted me to pay for everything. Like, this guy's a fucking adult, and he worked less hours in 1 week than I was working in an entire day. And he was trying to get me to pay for all this shit for him and everything, and I was trying to get my friend Star into that place too, because he was just trying to look for a place at that point, and it became this whole thing where Star was okayed, and then the day that Star was moving, we were both told that, like, hey, I never okayed it, this isn't something that I'm okay with, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And so I was just like, whatever, I'll talk to him tomorrow and, like, see if we can still get you okayed. And, like, Star came to town and we hung out and everything. And I went back to the trailer that night, and the door code had been changed. So I wasn't even able to get in. So Star and I had to stay the night in a hotel room. And I mean, that was.
Get to use the pool.
Yeah, we got there late, so we didn't even get to go fucking swimming, which is bullshit.
And we had to leave early in the morning.
Yeah, we got there at like 10 o'clock at night, and we had to leave at like 7 or 8 in the morning. Well, we wound up leaving at 7 or 8. We had until 11. We just wound up leaving earlier because, fuck it, we were trying to get something going. And we wound up, like, having to basically separate that afternoon because we couldn't get anything taken care of. And I wound up going going all the way to my mom's place, which was a 2.5 hour drive that honestly I just it took a lot out of me. And while I was there I was just kind of dealing with my own shit again. Like, I had a decent job that I had to leave because of a reaction to one of the fucking chemicals that they had there. Then wound up getting a second job there that I had to leave due to some family issues that I can't/won't really get into. But it basically became this point where anything that I had money for between those two jobs, I didn't wind up saving a single dime of it because I became a raging fucking alcoholic the entire time I was there. And I just wish I could go back and change shit because I feel so fucking stupid for doing it. But it's neither here nor there at that point. But June rolled around of this year, and my girlfriend finally called me and said, "Hey, I need you to come back. There's, been some issues concerning having a full-time babysitter because her babysitter at the time was, a couple months away from having a kid herself, and she didn't want to put that stress on the babysitter and everything." But so anyway, I moved back and I got a job that was not willing to give me good hours, and I was just like, whatever, I'll stick with it until something new opens up. And wound up finding something for a new restaurant that had just opened in town, and I leapt on it right away. Took the interview, took the job, and like I was working as hard as I could, doing what I could, no matter what circumstances. And there was this one person that worked there who was at one point in my career working there, was one of my really close friends. Her and another person were two of my really close friends, and middle of last month, just before Thanksgiving, I got called into my work office, and I was like, this is either going to be something really good or something really bad. And they said, "Hey man, we're going to have to cut you down to 1 day a week." And I was working 5 days a week full time, 40 hours. And I asked, well, I mean, what's going wrong? And they said, we can't have somebody working here that's sexually harassing two of our employees. And I asked what their context was for that, and they said these two employees who, for sake of keeping their identities private, I'm going to keep them nameless, have come forward and said that you have been harassing them outside of work. And I said, okay, well, that's kind of funny that this is coming up because those two are friends and have probably correlated some sort of story because I haven't done anything. The only thing I've done was told the first one of them that reported me that I would not go on a dinner date with her when she offered, because I have a girlfriend and I do have a kid. And I'm guessing she took that way too hard, like way harder than I thought she did, and got some sort of story together with the other friend, told that to my bosses, and they decided they needed to talk to me with no concrete evidence of anything that they had said being true even mentioned whatsoever. And the next week, I worked that night, and they said, okay, here's your scheduled day for next week. I showed up that next day, and they said, hey man, we thought keeping you on the 1 day a week schedule would help the situation, and we're being told by one of those individuals again that you decided to harass her outside of work. And it's like, I hadn't even left my house for that week, hadn't talked to that person, I didn't have their phone number or like any of their social media whatsoever. And I was like, well, it's bullshit. I haven't done anything. I got people that can vouch for me that I was at home. And they're like, well, I mean, we're getting you know, another report of this happening, so, I mean, I'm sorry, man, we're gonna have to let you go. Within the time frame of me getting that job to that happening, I was working on becoming management. I had started there in September, and I started mid-September, and literally at my 2-month mark, they were gonna start working to get me up to management. And I literally lost my job because of a false sexual harassment allegation. Now, this is something that I don't even believe I've told Star, and I've told Star pretty much everything that's happened to me. The reason I would never sexually assault anybody is because after I moved away from the drug situation, and me and him had been drinking. He was hanging out with his girlfriend, and I mean, that was cool or whatever. And I had a lady friend that I had been really good friends with for like years and years beforehand. She'd come over because she was in town from college and was fine. And, you know, I had been drinking beforehand and, you know, didn't really think anything of it. And we were hanging out, and I just remember just kind of like blacking out halfway through the night, not really remembering what was going on. And I woke up like earlier, or it was kind of like I call it early day, but it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning after this person had left. And my friend's girlfriend at the time, my friend was asleep. My friend's girlfriend at the time heard everything that happened, and she said, I'm sorry to tell you this, dude, but while you were blacked out, she fucking raped you. And all I remember at that point was just freaking out and breaking down into tears. And I called, and I had a police officer come to where we were living. And you know, I told him the whole thing, that I had been drinking that night and everything. And when I told him that I had been drinking, he just told me, you know what, your story's not going to matter anyway. You're drunk. You're obviously telling a lie. I'm not going to take your report down. And he just left. And when I tried to call to have a different officer sent, they said that they're not going to be able of helping somebody who's clearly intoxicated, and to stop wasting their time. So, in one night, I got taken advantage of and called a liar. I am a Caucasian male. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't say anything about me though.
Yeah.
Like if it was a special case with me,
Anyway,
I would have to
but
say that I'm a Caucasian female. So
yeah, I'm a Caucasian male. Always been a Caucasian male. Most likely will always be a Caucasian male. And
are you sure?
because because I had been drinking that night, the officer told me that my side of the story was obviously fabricated. They didn't even care they didn't ask me any information about the other person. They didn't ask me anything about about what could have possibly happened. They didn't even start taking notes down. They took down my name and the fact that I had been drinking and basically told me to fuck myself. It
Sorry.
happens to guys too. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit and say that it doesn't happen to guys too because I'm living fucking proof that it happens. And basically what I'm trying to say is no matter what gender you are or what gender you identify as, if something like that happens to you, it's not okay. And if an officer ever treats you like that during one of these things, that is not okay. Every one of y'all out there deserves a lot better than that. And don't let it define your life. Because for 2 months after that, I let it define every single day of my life. Thinking that I could never be safe. I had to have both locks on the door locked at all time when I was home. No matter what. Because I couldn't trust any. I couldn't, like, even my friend, like, I knew I could trust him, and I still was like, dude, you know, I can't be in the same room with just you. Someone else has got to be here. Because I just didn't know what people were capable of at that point. And he had assured me time and time before, and it's hard to even look at somebody that you know you can trust and tell them that you can't trust them because of something happening like that. And it's one of those things where I lost a piece of myself that day that I can't get back. And I can't even confront the person about it because one, the person has completely blocked me on every front possible. And because the one time I did have the chance to confront them, I was at work. I saw them come in, and this was at the job I recently lost because of those sexual harassment allegations, by the way. I saw that person, and I completely fucking locked up. And it got, like, I locked down so bad to the point where my managers were taking me, they like walked me to the office with them and asked me if I was okay, and I broke down. I've never broken down to that degree at a job before, and I basically almost completely collapsed to the floor, and I was freaking out, and I pointed to them. I pointed the person out to them at the cameras that they had in the back because they had everything with security cameras. I said, I'm not leaving until that person's gone. And I sat in that room for 45 minutes. Incapable of doing my job and basically incapable of even talking to people at that point because of that. this shit's severely traumatic to people. And like, if it's happened to you, I'm there for you. Like, we can be friends. We can talk about this kind of shit. I got you. And if you're the type of person that has done something like that, I really, really hope that you change your ways. Because if you don't, I will be the reason for your death. Because I will not. I'm not going to be the type of person that sits back and lets that shit happen to somebody without there being some sort of repercussions. And if you've done it and you've gotten away with it, you're the worst type of fucking person. And I don't ever wish to meet a person that does that kind of shit. But yeah, this has been Game Breakers with a very different kind of message that honestly, up until now, I had no comfort talking to anybody about, and I don't know what kind of just triggered me tonight. Like, it was just one of those nights where I just felt I needed to talk about something. And if you've gone through any of these experiences, or anything even close to these experiences, you know, it happens to other people too. And trust me, things get better. Like, I'm living in a house, my girlfriend's house, that she was able to get at 22 or 23 years old. 23 years old. She bought her house at 23 years old. And I get to live in it with her. I've got a kid that's going to be 3 here in May that I never expected to have. And I'm so glad that we had him, because he is the best thing that's ever happened in my life. And then I got these two assholes here, named Carrie and Star, that for some reason have decided that my friendship is something that they like. And honestly, they just kind of make the day just that much more enjoyable. So basically what I'm saying is, depression is bad. It can get better. Just surround yourself with the right people. Drugs are bad. They do not help make things better. If anything, they made things a lot worse for me at that point in my life. Not gonna lie.
Okay, guys, just want to let you know, drugs are bad. Don't do them. End of story.
I mean, if you are, you know, if you're a person that takes drugs,
a different case.
If you are a person that takes drugs, you know, I do honestly urge you to stop. If you have no like want to stop, like if you don't want to stop, I mean, that's on you. I mean, you know, that's you. Do whatever you gotta do. You know, still care about you. You're still decent people. If you are a person that is trying to get away from it, though, there's options, there's resources out there for you. I mean, I currently don't have any fucking numbers or anything for you. But
we'll put them in the description below.
Yeah, we this is gonna be basically a help video for anybody who's going through, well, I mean, anything, honestly. Like, if you want to be done being an addict, we're gonna get you the help that you need, that you want or need, you know. And if you're, you know, a clean, sober person, you know, and if you've gone through your battles or never had your battles, you know, congratulations, proud of you. Keep up the good work. You're good people too. Care about you just as much as I care about the druggies.
Damn it!
We'll also be putting the numbers down below for National Suicide Prevention Hotline. because that is something that is very, very important to, I believe, everybody in the party. That is one of the resources that honestly I wish I had known I had access to before, that people were willing to talk and just help. If people are willing to sit up with you at night and talk to you, people that don't even know you. Not because it's their job, it's because it's something that they feel that they need to do. Like, there's people out there that haven't even met you that care about you. And I'm like, I want that to sink in with you. That there are people. Like, I haven't met, I think, anybody other than the two people here, Kiri and Star. There's nobody really that I've met online that I don't care about. Like, I care about all of you. And as far as like getting as far as the whole like sexual assault rape thing, I'm there for you as well. If you need to talk, if you need someone, if you need a shoulder to cry on, it's always here. There's someone from Game Breakers usually on a like every single hour of the day. Like, we're pretty much generally covered because we're all just really fucking weird with our sleeping schedules.
What is the sleep that we speak of?
Yeah, exactly. What is sleep? But yeah, the big message here is things get better. I went from having no parents, living with my grandma, getting picked on because I didn't have parents, to having my own. When I was a teenager, I was the delinquent. Because it's like, who's gonna stop me? My parents? Oh well, that's who the like, where the fuck are they? To, hey, I'm an adult. This is how shit works. Shit doesn't always work out the way we want it to, but things do get better. And just know that I am on your side. We can be friends, and I mean, we're gonna do what we can to help you out. This literally applies to anybody who gets this video. I mean, even if you're just here for me shooting the back of a griffin head with a couple arrows, to the people who are like actually listening to the message and like taking it to heart. Like, I'm willing to be friends with all of you. I'm willing to sit here and talk with you. Like, fuck, I've sat up with people and made 8-hour phone calls just to keep people from, trying to leave. People that didn't want to be part of this nice, beautiful rock known as Earth.
It's not
it's
a rock. Planet.
Rock, planet, whatever.
It's a giant boulder, technically speaking.
It's a giant circle floating through space at millions of miles an hour that has a day and night cycle. Unless you live in Alaska, then you have like 9 months of darkness and 3 months of light. I'm sorry about that. That must really suck for you guys. I'm there for you too, Alaskans. Don't worry.
We're not laughing at your pain. We're laughing at the joke. I mean, not the joke.
I'm there for you too, Alaskans. No matter what time of day, night it is for you. I actually kind of want to go to Alaska at one point. From what I've seen on postcards, it's fucking beautiful. Anyway,
I'm joking.
So yeah. Basically, we're here for you. We're gonna get hotlines in the description. Just lines in general. For any kind of support you may need. This has been Game Breakers. and we're wishing you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy everything.
happy whatever you celebrate. And with that, yeah, enjoy the holidays. Happy early New Year. Wow, happy early New Year. And we'll see y'all here in the upcoming days. And I want y'all to have a nice day. Game Breakers out.